This is Europa. The actual Europa League anthem isn't nearly as good as the Champions League anthem. Almost as bad as my singing. And hey, my name is Adrian, by the way, and welcome to Rabona TV. Get comfortable. It's the end of the week. Relax. Let that tension go. And let's talk some Europa. And hey, if you like what you see by the end of this video, then maybe consider hitting that subscribe button and hit me up in the chat, comment section. It's not a chat, we're not live streaming. Let's start with Lazio, which I always thought that Lazio sounded like a great cheese, no? Almost like a pecorino vibe. A nice pizza with some rapini, sausage, and then you grate a little Lazio on top? But I digress. As Pecorino were the hosts for this match, and they didn't want to waste any time at all in breaking down that defensive wall that is FC Salzburg. 8 minutes in, Senad Lulic, the Bosnian Barracuda, I don't know. Hey man, we're freestyling here. He scored his first goal, if you couldn't tell by the Pecorino thing. He scored his first goal of this Europa League campaign to put the hosts out in front. However, if you've been paying attention to this Europa League, then you know that Salzburg aren't afraid to cause some problems on the road. And Valon Berisha did exactly that on the 30th minute mark when he slotted home a penalty. It was kind of a bullshit penalty, to be honest with you though, as Basta put his hands on Berisha's neck and Berisha went down holding his face. But regardless, 1-1, and things really evened out from there. In fact, in general, this was an extremely balanced match. Just before the half, the most sought-after young player with a hyphenated last name, Sergej Milinkovic-Savic, put a free standing header wide. To be fair though, this was probably his best match in a couple of months as he struggled with fitness and form. They often go hand in hand. But in the 49th minute, Marco Parolo deftly finished a Luis Alberto squared pass. That made it 2-1 for Lazio. And that was also an historic goal in that it was Lazio's 300th goal in UEFA competition. So congrats to them on 3 centuries of goals. But Salzburg don't care about that, as that guy Dabur set up Takumi Minamino to make it 2-2 just 30 seconds after he came onto the pitch. But a defensive lapse just 3 minutes later led to Felipe Anderson scoring a spectacular goal. And of course, Ciro Immobile scoring a 4th. And that was his 7th in this Europa League campaign. I think, after the James Milner assist discrepancy in my last video, I don't know who to trust anymore. Who scored? UEFA.com? I trust nobody. And that's how it ended, folks. 4-2 to Lazio and FC Salzburg incredible unbeaten run that spanned 8 months and 35 matches, and their 19-match unbeaten run in European competitions. It's over. They're both over. So, leaking 4 goals is never a great situation. But the fact that this is Salzburg, a typically stingy team, besides Atletico, they are maybe the only other team in this competition that you would bet would be able to keep Lazio off the score sheet at home. Plus, with the goals they scored and their penchant for winning penalties, they can also get a goal or 2 of their own. And 2 goals and a clean sheet is all they need now. Alright, let's hit the RB Arena for RB Leipzig versus Marseille. The first talking point cropped up in the 41st minute when Bunasar's side volley drove straight into the ground and off the bar. And just a few minutes later, a flurry of mad scramble at both ends occurred. First, there was the non-call in what looked like it should have been a penalty for Leipzig. The referee was a little loosey-goosey at times in this one, as he missed a massively obvious handball by Forsberg just outside of the Leipzig box earlier. Following the non-call, Marseille countered the other way and forced 2 big saves out of Peter Gulaschi, the second of which ended at the feet at Konate, who found Forsberg, who sent Timo Werner through, and Werner beat his man and slotted the ball under Pele. Pele, by the way, is not a great backup option to the injured Steve Mandanda. They need to sign another keeper, I think. Timo Werner was the main thorn in Marseille's side, and his pace and ever-improving movement off the ball and ball control and skill on the ball are making me wonder how long it will be until he moves on from Leipzig to Bayern Munich. The man himself said that he won't be going to Munich, at least this summer. And Klopp is a huge fan of him, so we'll see where he ends up. Anyways, Marseille were left pretty frustrated in this match as they had dangerous chance after dangerous chance that just didn't find its way into the back of the net. Whether it was due to Gulaschi making a great save, or it narrowly missing, hitting the bar, etc. But if you're a Marseille fan, you may not be too worried as their home form has been pretty solid this year. And considering L'Homme were without Rolando, Rami, Mandanda, and Thauvin, then they have to like their chances at the second leg in the Velodrome. By the way, with all those injuries and suspensions, they also had to change their formation to a 3-5-2, a formation they haven't played with much at all this season, if at all. And they played it with Luis Gustavo, a center mid, at the center of a back 3, alongside right back Hiroki Sakai and 18-year-old Boubacar Kamara. Not bad. Okay, Atletico versus Sporting, and there's no time for build-up because Koke scored after just 22 seconds. Yes, that's right. Sebastian Coates made a pretty match-fixie type pass to Jeremy Mathieu, Diego Costa easily intercepted and played Koke through, who had no problems in slotting the ball past Patricio. Of course, that was Atletico Madrid's fastest ever goal in the Europa League, and only Koke's 5th of the season. And what? Mind you, I guess he has never gotten into double digits for goals in any of his seasons, so it can't be that surprising. And not only did Coates cough up the ball cheaply, but Diego Costa megged him with his pass through to Koke, so RIP Sebastian Coates. The teams then traded chances back and forth, but whenever Sporting attacked, it never really felt like they were doing enough to 1. Get shots on frame, and 2. Beat one of the best keepers in the world right now in Jan Oblak. I mean, Gelson Martins came close-ish, but other than that, where Sporting did look dangerous was in their defense, as it was Jeremy Mathieu's turn to make a terrible mistake, as a business-as-usual interception of a pass intended for Griezmann bounced off of the inside of his leg and fell to its intended target, and said target broke through on goal and coolly finished past Patricio. Sloppy, sloppy Sporting. And this isn't hate, Sporting fans, it's just truth. I'm sure you'll agree with me, actually. That was Griezmann's 13th goal in his last 11 games, which, coupled with his 4 assists in that time, mean he's been involved in 17 goals for Atletico in 11 matches. Solid. Also, revenge for him after Rui Patricio made a couple of great saves against him in the Euro 2016 final. In the second, Coates was match fixie again, as he fluffed an easy gather of the ball, and Diego Costa found himself in clear on Rui Patricio, but the keeper did well to collect the ball. Better than Coates, that's for sure. And he did the exact same thing later on in the half as well. He was shocking in this match. Sporting really faded in the second half, especially when William Carvalho went off early, until the last 15 minutes or so, when they began to get their flow back in the attack. And luckily for Atletico, Fredy Montero decided he wanted to mimic what Mauro Icardi did in the Milan derby on Wednesday by blowing an easy chance over the bar from 6 yards out, with the goal at his mercy. I'm sorry, Fredy Montero, though. Mauro Icardi put it wide, not over the bar, so nice try, sweetie. So Atletico have now won 15 of their 17 home matches, 14 of which were clean sheets. And considering Atletico never got out of second gear and still looked pretty comfortable in this match, while Sporting were dreadful in defense, and both Bas Dost and Fabio Contrang will be suspended for the match in Lisbon, it's going to be really tough for Sporting. I mean, it probably won't be redemption time for Fredy Montero because Sporting show no will to win games as of late, and everything seems like a lot of effort. Speaking of which, I don't think they will get the result they need. Focus on Taça de Portugal. Finally, let's talk Arsenal versus CSKA Moscow. And this match was fast and furious, but with Arsenal dominating it throughout. I was actually a little unhappy with Arsenal yesterday because I was walking to meet my friend trying to enjoy my podcast, and they kept on scoring goals and sending notifications to my phone. Like, come on, guys. Let a man listen to men in blazers in peace. So, Aaron Ramsey and Lacazette got a brace each in Arsenal's 4-1 win over CSKA, in which we saw 5 goals scored in the first 35 minutes. First up was Aaron Ramsey, who finished off a well-worked goal by slamming Hector Bellerin's squared ball. That was a sick goal on a day of sick goals for Arsenal. Then, just 6 minutes later, another sick goal as Alexander Golovin hit a peach of a free kick into the upper 90 of the goal. Ahmed Musa threatened to score a second for CSKA shortly after, but it was Arsenal who would get the go-ahead goal after Ozil was brought down in the box, and Penazet put away the ensuing penalty. And on the 27th minute, it all went Pornhub. What a ball from Ozil, and the finish from Ramsey is just... Whoa! Ozil wasn't finished there though, as he cut the ball back to Lacazette, who took one touch to control and another to smash it into the bottom corner. Like I said, 5 goals in just 35 minutes. And that was it as far as goals go. Arsenal continued to absolutely batter CSKA in the second half, with seemingly everyone coming close, and Ramsey hitting the woodwork in search of his Hattie. No Hattie, m'laddie. Arsenal probably should have scored about 10 goals in this match, and considering they have now won their last 5 matches straight, conceding only twice in that time, things are looking good there. Lacazette is scoring goals from open play, Ramsey is bombing forward and looking like a menace, and Ozil has 4 assists in his last 3 Europa League matches. Lacazette, by the way, has scored 10 goals in his last 13 Europa League appearances, and 3 in his last 2 across all competitions. Going into the second leg, Arsenal will be fine. Like I said, they should have had a ton more goals, and it's highly unlikely that CSKA will keep them off of the score sheet in Moscow, so you're good, Arsenal. Hopefully for your sake, I didn't just jinx you. And that is all, my friends. Thanks for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it as much as I enjoyed making it. Also, don't forget that we have the Manchester Derby watch along this Saturday, which reminds me that I watched a YouTube Q&A and they said that they do not notify all subscribers when you go live, which... But if you want to be notified when I go live, then hit that bell icon. You have to do that now. It's annoying. Alrighty, take care of yourselves this weekend and tell someone you love them. Bye!